Hi angels, welcome back to my channel. Today you're going to learn how to apply Gel X tips very easily, as well as removal, and how to do a French manicure. If you're not already, please subscribe and enjoy the video.
Alright guys, so now I'm going to teach you first how to remove your nails. So if you're like me and you have tips on, you're going to have to soak these off. So you're going to need nail polish remover, but please make sure that it has acetone in it. If it does not have acetone in it, then nothing's going to come off, and that is only for nail polish, not gel, not for enhancements like Gel X and tips. Make sure you have this with acetone. Next, you're going to need a e-file to save time to, just kind of file off all this color. So it will save you a lot of time from just sitting and soaking. These I got off Amazon. These are aluminum foil wraps, but the best thing about these is that they already have the cotton piece in it, little cotton swab. So that way you will just take a little touch of the acetone, boop, and wrap your finger. And normally it takes me about 20 minutes to file off my nails and just do a really, really fast removal. Okay, so once you have your e-file, you are going to turn that on, and then you are going to, whether you are a beginner or someone who's been doing this for a while, you're gonna do it at your own pace. Oh yeah, and make sure that you have a bit, right? So I'm using a bit that is ceramic, but it has teeth to it. So that way it takes off the fake nail a lot faster. This you wouldn't really put on your natural nail because it kind of would shred it. So this is good for removals and fake nails. So you're gonna turn on your e-file to whatever level you think is good. I've been doing this for years, so I already know I can go up pretty high. And what you will do is take your hand, take your pinky to anchor, right? So you have something stable to sit on, and you're just going to push down and file off that color, and you're just going to do strokes like that until it comes off, right? So if you know that your tip, you have way more extra tip, then you don't have to file all that because you're just going to cut it off anyway. So I'm just going to take off where we need. Like at the cuticle. And you don't want to file too fast, too hard, because if you do that, then you could cause a heat spike and it could burn you or your client. So just go at your pace, be slow, take your time. So as you can see, I have all of this that I didn't file, but my real nail is right there. So that's where I'll be cutting off the tip. So I'm just gonna go ahead and do the same for all the other nails. I'm gonna turn it up a little bit more. And just file off. The reason why the e-file is so good is just because it saves so much time, right? So if you were to just take this and wrap it and soak it in the acetone, it may take maybe like 45 minutes to an hour just to keep pushing everything off. With this saves a lot of time. And you can find this on Amazon. You can get a super fancy one. I think this one was only about $40. I've had it for over a year, and she's amazing. And just repeat. Here's another tip. You don't want to have nails soaking in acetone for too long, because acetone is a really strong liquid where it breaks down, right? So if you have your natural nails sitting in acetone, you're essentially breaking down your own nails. So I would say not to have them wrapped for way too long, because if you're going to go ahead and put something else on top, whether it's polish or a gel tip or Gel X tip, whatever, it can also burn, because right after soaking, it can be a bit sensitive. So just be careful about that. Alright, okay, so now that my nails are filed off, I'm gonna go ahead and cut where the, my Gel X ended and my real nail is. So I'm just gonna cut that off and get off what I don't need. See? because there's no point in wrapping the nail and soaking all that extra off when you could just cut it off because you don't need it anyway. Make them even. Yeah, and there you go. I'm just gonna go ahead and do the same to the other side. Now, I broke my nail really bad. Let me show you guys. I broke my nail really bad. Like, I hit it so hard that it kind of split. So if you've ever gone through this, I did not soak in acetone with this. I just filed off. I cut off the nail and filed off as much as I could without soaking in acetone. It is fine. I can put something on top of it, but it's gonna take a while to heal in general. But just be really careful. You know, sometimes you hit your hand, your nail breaks, but sometimes your nails are too long, but that was my mistake. But anywho, let's move on to the other hand, and you're just gonna do exactly what you did on the opposite hand. Just file off. Cut off the extra tip that we don't need. All right, so when your nails are literally all off now, okay, let's go ahead and turn off your machine so you can save the battery. We're going to get your acetone cap, right? So that's to open it. And you're gonna push down. See, it already has, I think one pump is enough. So you don't wanna have too many pumps where the acetone is seeping out because you just don't want all of that on your table. Acetone will mess up and damage your table, whatever you have on it, because it literally breaks through. You're going to take this, put this on top of the nail like that, push down, push on the left side, wrap on the right side, twist. Now you're gonna make sure that this is tight so that it's really on the finger. Twist, pull down. And that's how you're going to wrap your nail. So I'm gonna do it again. Remember, aluminum foil, one pump, that's enough. If you don't think so, do a little half one. Put the cotton piece right on your nail. Wrap to the left, wrap to the right, spin around. It does take a few times to get it really tight. Twist the end, push down. There you go. It is kind of tricky when you first start out because you're just not holding it. See how, wait, there's so much acetone. See, you don't want that much. Sorry, I did 2 pumps. That was way too much. I'm happy that happened so I could show you. But it does take a little while to literally perfect wrapping it, especially as a beginner. But just make sure you wrap it super tight because what you want is that the heat from your finger is going to warm up the nail and it kind of helps break down, you know, the tip that you have on that you're trying to get off. One. So again, put it on the nail, wrap left, wrap right, spin around, twist, push. There you go. And same on this side. Now, if you're working on somebody, the way to make it go faster is that when you have, you know, either her left hand or one whole hand done, you're gonna get your gel light and you're gonna have her put her hand in the light because the heat will also speed up the time. So that's a really fun trick too. So I'm just gonna wrap these. And I tell everybody that the trick to nails is literally just practice. Like, really good nail techs are good because it's just repetitive and they've done it a ton of times. And if you were to practice too, you would get it as well. I do think skill is involved, of course, if you do art and stuff like that, but I think nails is just like anything else. If you keep practicing, you'll get really good at it. So don't get discouraged when like you do your set and you take hours to do it. It used to take me 3-4 hours to do my first sets and it just would be not perfect, but once you keep trying, girl, you're gonna get it, I promise. Last finger here. Oh, see, it's a little tough when it's like your opposite hand, even after all these years. Still a problem wrapping my non-dominant hand. There you go. Just like that. I'm not gonna soak that because remember, it's broken. But you're gonna let this sit for about a good 10-15 minutes and we'll be right back. Okay, now that it's been about 10 minutes, I'm gonna go ahead and take these off and see how it's gonna be a more like up and it's gonna be ready to pop off. So I'm gonna go ahead and get my drill again. Turn it up, not so high as before, because now we're closer to the natural nail, so you don't want to actually damage your own nail. And you're going to lightly, see how easy it's coming off now because it's been soaking? See, it's already super lifted. You'll lightly get in there. And you don't even have to put that much pressure. It's going to want to come off on its own. Add a little bit. File off what is hanging on. There we go. Remember, carefully. And just file off. I do say to people that even if you have like a little bit left on, that's okay. If you're gonna reapply more gel, like if a little bit is left on, that's okay. But if it's a whole, you know, bunch, take it off. We're just gonna go ahead and repeat to all the other nails. See, lightly brush off. Get all this extra gel off the nail. There we go, just get in that corner. And if you can't really get in the corner, that's okay, because then you can just file it off. Right, so don't put too much pressure. And then file that off, same here, here. Leave that one. Next. So now if you feel that when you are trying to get a nail off, if it's not coming off easy, it may just need to sit a little bit longer. Maybe the nail really didn't soak in with the acetone enough, and it's okay to sit a little bit longer. It's okay. Because it should be easy to just glide on, and it should be able to come right off. Now the thumbs sometimes take longer because the thumbs have the most gel on them, so it's okay to let them sit longer. Lightly dust all that off. See? Remember, push back your sidewall so you can get in those corners. There we go. And there it goes. I'm just gonna copy for this hand as well. Okay, so now my nails are all off. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna get rid of this paper towel with all the dust and everything, just so that you can grab a new one so you know dust won't get back on you. Go ahead and put a brand new sheet down of a paper towel or towel, whatever you have. And if you would like, you can go ahead and start to just file off the gel that you see. See how there's like a little bit of gel stuck right there? I'm gonna go in and just file that off because I don't want to have anything on my sidewalls when I put my new nails on, right? Because then that might mess up my application. You could reshape your natural nails like how I'm doing just at the tip, but definitely go around on all of them on the sidewalls to make sure no extra stuff is kind of left behind. See how this has like some gel from the last set? I'm gonna go ahead, file that off and shape up the corner as well. Everything doesn't need to have a drill. You don't have to, you know, e-file every single thing. Sometimes you can just use a nice file, hand file, and you'll be good to go. There we go. Do for both sides. For a natural And for a natural set, like on your natural nails, I always use 100-180 file. Because when you use ones that are a little bit more coarse, like a little bit stronger, that's really for the nails that, you know, you're shaping the tip of like an acrylic nail or a Gel X that's not, you know, a sensitive natural nail. And there we go. Okay, so next you're going to get your pusher. You can use a metal one like this. You can use also a orange wooden stick, whatever works best for you. And you're going to just push back your cuticle. So what that does is you see that there's actually more skin there that you have to work with. So you have more of an area. So you're gonna push this back so you can free up, you know, all the extra space that you have on your nail. And don't go too rough, but just push with enough force that you'll be able to, which is our next step, to clean the cuticle. Push back, and it's okay if you get a little bit dead skin that's coming off. See how that is? But just push back because we will need that space when we apply our tip. Okay, so next we're going to clean up our cuticle. So you see all that little dead skin? We don't need that on our side walls. And this is what happens when people do not remove this. Your nail will come off, like your actual tip that you apply. This is just dead skin, right? And it doesn't really do anything, so you don't need it. So that's why we need to remove it. So I'm using a diamond bit, which is different than this bit. This is ceramic. This is a diamond bit. See how the teeth are? It has a different look to it. So I'm gonna be switching. And this one I'm going to be using on my natural nail. So I'm just gonna put it in my e-file, lock it. And when you do this, when you clean up your cuticles, you don't wanna have too high of a speed, right? Because you don't want to, you know, have a heat spike where it's too fast and then it burns your nail. So hold your nail like this, take your pinky, anchor it so you have somewhere to hold, so you're not just like, you know, like that. And you're going to do light strokes like that. And this saves you so much time. It cleans up the nail. And you're just gonna do the whole cuticle, left to right and side walls. And see, it'll get all that right off for you. Same thing here. Just get in there. If you can't get in here, remember to push the skin back. There you go. Perfect. So you'll do this to each nail. Also, you can always go in reverse if your e-file goes in reverse, right? So I'm going one way, I'm going to the left. So then if you feel like you need to go clean up and you know, you feel like you've missed something, you can always turn your e-file to the opposite direction and just clean up in there. I'm not pushing down too hard, just enough where it's just getting all that off. So now I'm going to push the reverse button on my e-file, and now we're going to go in the opposite direction. This is if you want to, and you can go opposite and maybe get some little dead skin you didn't, you know, don't think that you reached. And we're just going to go in the opposite direction like that. And see, as you can see, look how much better they look. And so next you are going to get your nippers, and you're going to be really careful. So if you are a super beginner, you're going to be very careful because normally you kind of cut too much, but just where you can see, like, you know, the skin, like this one's a little better than this finger, right? I have more dead skin here. You're going to clip under here and lightly, and then it'll lift up on its own. And this is skin that you just don't need. So it's gonna make your nails look prettier. It's dead, you don't need it. We're just gonna get rid of it. And yes, when you first begin, you may start to cut a little bit too much. So again, like I said, with anything, it is practice. Go ahead and just tip this off and go fully around the nail. I know with Russian manicures, they start from here, but it's okay when you just do a regular one to start over here. Same here. all this off. And that we do not need. Now also my skin looks really, really dry because remember we just soaked with the acetone. So all of this looks crazy. Oh, I forgot my pinky. Let's go back and do that. There we go. So that's clean. So I'm just gonna go ahead and do the same for this hand, but I'm gonna do this off camera. All right, so when that is all done, if you've ever been to a nail salon, you have seen this bit before. This is just a sand band. And basically this is gonna rough up the nail. So a lot of times people don't prep their nail right. So what this does, you're gonna lightly go over each finger. And what that does is that it makes this little grainy kind of foundation for your nail so that at least when the gel sits on it, it has some kind of ridge to really hold on. So that's why I go up to like level 2, like a really, like, you know, small level, and I just go over the nail like this. And it's gonna leave this like white chalky kind of look, but that's good. And you just need to lightly do it, nothing too rough. But this is how my nails and my clients' nails last for a month, because it has something else to grip onto. So you're just gonna lightly go over each one. That's it. Okay, so next you're gonna get out your tips, whatever that is. I'm gonna be using Gel-X. I would like to do medium. So this is square medium, and you're going to now see which fits each nail, right? So this is a size 7. And what you're looking for is to make sure that this is covered and that is covered. So I know a 7 is my size. I'm gonna grab an 8 just to show you the difference. This one's gonna be too small. And it's too small because you see right here how there's like my nail is out. That's what you don't want, because it's easy when the gel is on, you know, you think it's on, and then it's easy for it to pop off because there was a nail that was exposed. So just play around. So I'm gonna show you again the 7. That side is closed, that side is covered, excuse me, that side is covered, and this is the right size. So you're just gonna go ahead and figure out what your sizes are. See, a 5 is too small, so we're gonna go to a 4. 4, there we go. Go to a 3. Normally, if this is a 4, then the middle finger is usually bigger, so it's usually a number up. Sometimes people's nails do repeat, so I can show you if a 4 would fit on here. See, it wouldn't, it would still be exposed. So that's how I know it is a 4. I'm sorry. So then this one would fit. There we go. And let's see the thumb. 1. There we go. So that is that. I'm gonna go ahead and do the other side. Normally, everyone's hands kind of follow the same. I mean, you definitely have to double check. Sometimes people's fingers are different. So just don't think that, oh, because this pinky was a 7, that, you know, the other hand will be. No, sometimes people's fingers are different sizes. So you're just gonna double check. So 4. I do know that my fingers do repeat. So 3, so this would be a 4. So, and let's see if this would also be a 1, because I am a righty. Let's see, a 0. For me, because this is my hand that I write with, I feel like a 0 it just feels better, because maybe my thumb on my right hand is a little bit bigger than my left hand. Okay, so once you have all of your nails like so, you're gonna make sure that they are in order so you don't mix them up, right? So from left to right, and you're going to get a bit like this that has teeth of ceramic, and you're going to make sure that is locked in. And what you're going to do is etch each nail. So etching is, hold on 1 second, I'm sorry. Etching is when you take the nail and you're gonna file the inside. And the reason that you file like this really lightly is so that this is dry and it's also going to sit on your nail and it's going to sit comfortably. Anything that's shiny will not stick to your nail, if that makes sense. So you're just going to file maybe up to where the number is on the nail. See? And you're going to do that for each one. And be careful, you don't want to use too high of a speed because then you could warp the nail. And warping is basically you added too much pressure and now you just changed the nail, right? So let me grab one of these to show you. If you had it on a very high speed, I'm gonna use a nail that I'm not gonna use. Say you have it's a little too high, right? And you try to etch this nail. And it's too hot, and then you hold it too long, and then you go the other side, and you're like, la la la, I'm doing just fine. That is warping it. See how now it's like bumpy. It's not the same anymore. It lost its shape. That's what warping a nail is. So that's what you don't want to do. So make sure you have it on a lower speed, and just lightly file the inside. And get whichever hand. I'm going to start with my left hand. You're going to dehydrate your nail. So if you don't have step 1 that comes in the Gel X, that's totally fine. You could literally just use alcohol. Alcohol is going to dry out your nail, or you could use acetone, but just make sure your nail is super dry. So I'm going to now get step 2, which is primer. You don't have to use the Gel X primer. You can use whatever primer you like. Primer just makes sure that your nails are sticky. So you're going to apply a little layer to each finger like this. There you go. And next you're going to apply a thin layer of your Gel X to each finger, like very, very thin. You don't want this to be very chunky. You just want a little something on the nail. A nice swoosh like that. And the same for this one and each finger. See how I'm not reapplying, like going back into the bottle, getting more gel? You really don't need too much. You just need a layer on, a nice thin layer. To coat each one, like that. And then you're gonna go into the light for 60 seconds. Right, so since we did put our hand in acetone, it is a little bit, sensitive, so it's okay to take your hand out, wait until it cools off, and then put it back in. All right, so now it is time to apply your nail. So you're gonna get your nail, you're gonna get the Extend Gel, you're going to take a bit right here, and you're gonna, from the cuticle part, put some on there. Not too much because you don't want to flood it. It's going to take a bit of practice to see what really is best for you and how big your nail is, but that's how much I'm going to put on. I have my little lamp here because this is just really helpful. So I'm going to turn that on already. Take that. Make sure your finger is pointed downward because you want the gel to flow, down, excuse me. So you're going to take it, push down, make sure it's on straight, make sure the gel flows down, it's on correctly. Go right into the little light. Okay. And then that's how your tip is on. And then you're literally just going to repeat. Ooh. And then you're just going to go ahead and repeat for all the other nails. Remember, just a bit. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm gonna turn my light on. I put it on for 60. Push down so the gel flows literally straight down for you. And then you pop into the light. Very easy. Really, the next one as well. So what I do is I always start out with one hand first, so I don't go back and forth. I literally will just stick with like my left hand and then make sure all of that is done, and then I'll move on to my right. Make sure you're always twisting your nail like back and forth. I mean, like just rotating it. Don't actually move the tip. Just move your nail so that the light hits all sides. And then I'm gonna pop this in for 30 seconds, just so it has like a stronger light. And then my last one, remember your thumb is always gonna need the most gel. So it's okay to go in with 2 swipes. Just don't try to put too much, you know, then too much is gonna seep out the sides. Remember, push back. From the tip, push down, let the gel flow on its own to the tip of your nail, pop into the light. And doing nails is fun. Like, yes, it may take a little while, but after a while, it'll just turn into self-care. You know, you can put on some music, you know, pop on your favorite show. I know everyone kind of hates, which is so sad. They hate, you know, the waiting of doing nails. But honestly, it'll turn into such self-love and self-care. I promise, I promise, I promise. It just takes a little bit of time. Okay. And then we're gonna pop in here for 60 seconds. Right, and this is how they are when they come out, right? So you still have the tips here, but you'll be able to file those off. I'm just gonna go ahead and do the same for this hand. So remember, put on dehydrator, this for 60 seconds, and then apply each one of these. All right, so now that all your nails are on, you might have these little tabs that are at the end. They just like look like they're just sticking out. You can just go ahead and just clip them off. And also you can take a file and just file it off. I just do this really quickly to get the tabs off, and then I'll lightly file each one. Sometimes they don't even have the tabs on it, but for some reason, I feel like more with the new boxes, they do. So then you'll just go over it to make sure it's smooth and it's leveled. You don't want to do too much because then you're going to actually be filing the nail. You just want to get that little bit off. That's it. Very cute. So now just to clean up the nail, you're going to take your file and you're going to do the sides. You know, sometimes the gel, when you apply it, it does seep on the side. Like, see how there's a bit of gel right there? You can easily go in and it'll just come right off. See how it's filing off? There you go. So you'll do that to each nail. Sometimes you won't even know it's there until you start filing. See? So you'll push back. See a little bit that's there? And file that off. There. There. There we go. Do that to every single nail, just to clean up. All right, so whatever tips you have, they're probably gonna be sharp, right? So I have square, so you're gonna get a soft buffer block, and you're just gonna file these a bit, just to soften them. Right, so they're just not super sharp. You can even go back with your other file and just do a swipe. Here we go. Love that. Now you're gonna go ahead and grab the polish you want. All right, so once you pick your color, I'm gonna go with OPI's Bare My Soul because I just want like a nice neutral color. I'm gonna go in with this, which is step 3, which is the acid-free tip primer. So basically you put this on top of the nail, right? So you're gonna have to either buff the top of the nail so that it's not shiny, but this right here, if you apply this, then you'll be able to skip that step, of buffing and, you know, going back and forth, this will make the nail able for polish to go on top without it, you know, coming off. See, just like that. Do that for each finger. Make sure you put enough and don't put it on the cuticle. Like, don't let it sit too long. That's all. Just like that. So make sure your light is close by, and you're just gonna go ahead and polish each finger. So remember, on your first coat, you're gonna do a very light application, because when you put too much polish on, that's when it comes out looking chunky and it looks crazy. So remember, just a light application, right? Whatever color you like. I'm more of a pink nude kind of girly. So I do a dot right there, and then I push the brush up. Again, and I get as close as I can to the cuticle, because you don't want the polish to go on the cuticle. So I'm gonna do that again. I'm gonna do a touch, take it, push the brush down, push towards your cuticle, brush down, up, down. It's okay to push down on the brush. I feel like sometimes people would think they can't push down. I don't know why, but you can. So it'll make your life a little bit easier. A touch, push down, up, down, over to the left, over to the right, a little bit closer to the cuticle, brush down. From here. There you go. And just put it in the light for 60 seconds. All right, so once you have enough polish on your nail, I'm gonna do a French, right? So I wanna do a short micro kind of French. So you're gonna go ahead on whatever palette you want. I just use, you know, one of the Loom foil wraps with my liner brush. And I'm just gonna do a cute little line, just a cute little corner French for my square nails. And you can do it however you like. I'm gonna probably hold my hand down like this, because it's just a little bit easier for me. And to go top and up. See how cute she is? I'm just gonna go ahead and do the same for all these nails.